So we'll just show you very shortly about how we set our mullion post, which is essential to getting this first face like built nicely. Again, to make all the rest of the build nice and easy, like really seamless. So we've just fixed one. With these braces, we just used an end wall girt, which is one of the ones we laid out. But you want to get as much angle as you can just to really stiffen up that brace, and it gives it a bit more strength. Now you can see Jamie here. So this first bit we're doing is to dry fit. So we need to actually cut out the mullion to fit into the rafter. It doesn't fit to the outside, it actually fits into the rafter. Because there's 4 of us on site, once we get this face sorted, we're going to have 2 guys working on the framing, and then just 2 guys to start tailing behind and help them as they need. But we'll start tailing behind and start getting all the sidewalls and the buildings on. So you can see here, Rodney's just got, he hasn't got it fitted. So what he's doing, he's just leveling that up, and we got that pretty well spot on. You need to actually get the thickness of the rafter, which we know is 76 mil. So then we can capture that onto the mullion. Sorry, I'll just quickly show you, because that's the 76 measurement, and then that's the trace. So I think a lot of people have built sheds and get confused with this, because I've seen like photos of people that have just like stuck this on without cutting it out.
As is, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what you do with, well, and the mullions do vary in what you do and how you do them. But this is usually a general practice with a lot of companies that we build for. I don't go too crazy here screwing this off, because sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes the height doesn't work, so you have to adjust it. So you just put 2 in. Yep, it's good to go. And then once you've got these mullion posts in, it's important to go back to your outer columns, because we've set them level, but the apex could have, but we've got the crane, so it's pretty solid that the apex was lifted. But sometimes you can set these level, but the apex will be like bowing out, and it'll be causing a lot of pressure on that. And then when you actually straighten the apex out, it alters your column, the level of your columns. So once that's done and fixed and square, then we'll go back to the outsides, do them, and then we're off and running. Yep. You see Rodney, just to make your life easier, just use a clamp, locks it up. Now you put the screw in, because sometimes when you put the screw in, it'll grab the steel and it'll twist and it'll move your mullion. The clamps are incredible. For an 18 by 10, a lot of companies won't freaking, use back to back, and it's also a heavier gauge as well. And you probably find on 1810 sheds usually that they're just single portals with that steel, or even lighter steel. Well, these guys this is back to back C's, back to back rafters. So it's a little bit, not tricky to build, but there's a little bit more work involved when you're building the frames. But when you're standing it up and actually building the actual shed, it's freaking lovely to build, like a bloody solid as anything. It allows you to change it. We're going to change the system a little bit. Because of these backs, we're going to stick these with the fascias at the top and just lock the building up straight away, because we just know that this is solid. Even with a little bit of wind, it won't really affect us. So yeah, with the team of 4, that's freeing up Jamie to start framing up this back wall. And then, because we're going to stick the fascias first, we can then start having guys follow behind, getting all the walls on. Just loosely fitting these bolts, mate. We go through once the frame's stood, once everything's straight, and then we'll tighten things up. Is this the way we're doing it? We're actually putting the apex in first, because of what I was explaining before, that with that apex in, it sort of is going to straighten these columns up because we're going to be fixing our columns straight off now. So we want that apex relatively locked up, but because it's back to back and it's got apex braces in there, it's going to be quite stiff anyways. So, but you see here, Rodney, he's getting his bolts in. He'll get this other one in here, and then he'll go back to the end. And this is a 102 curl M wall girt. So he'll set that past the rafter, 102 mil. At the top, there's two haunch brackets in between the two columns. So that's where I'm getting at is that's not a true level because these are sealed together here, but there's a big gap at the top. So the best way to level these up is just to get center of that join, and then center of here, and then that's how you get your don't with the back to back. Don't go on the. There's about a 8 mil difference from top to bottom because of those haunch plates. So I made a bit of a blunder. Hadn't read the plans because usually these are all center points, and I hadn't. So I got my points right, but yeah, that point was actually the outside of the bracket, not the center point. So you can see all these ones. They're the centers there, but it's actually a really easy fix. We'll be 10-minute job and we're back on board, but we're going to have a few holes in the concrete which we'll have to patch up. But that's I'm not happy about that. That's poor by me. But yeah, we'll get this sorted and rectified really quickly.
So how come this one's like different to the other ones?
Because this is a Garreport end.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, so this is a Garreport end, so I don't know why they've changed that, but anyways, we're just going to move into fixing this up and getting this sorted. I may have an explanation for you later, but that's me not looking at the plans 100% precisely, which I should have done. So anyways, we'll get into it. This is the first mistake I've ever made. On camera. Oh, he chucked some extra steel in there or something.
No, it's a daughter bolt. It's outside.
So Ernie and I did these measurements, and
No, say put that on front.
right. Anyways, we're good, huh? Yep. $8:42, so just over 2 hours, just to get this all sorted. Had my little boo boo and mistake, but it's going to be all good. There's actually going to be a flashing going across there, so you're not going to see that. But it went really smooth, and we're on track. Like a couple more hours, the roof will be fully done. We'll have roller door posts up, and it'll be braced, and yeah. So yeah, it's going well, man. We'll have 2 guys now move on to the roof, start framing out the roof. Actually, before that, go through, double check all our posts, make sure all our posts are right, and then we'll go through and lock up our apex, because the purlin that we've got in the apex currently is loose, like it's bolted up, but it's just finger tight. So yeah, again, we go columns, and then go through with the scissor and lock up our apex, so lining everything up. And then once that step's done, we then go through and start getting all the roof done. So when we're doing the roof purlins, we've found, like, there's different ways you can do it, but we find it's better to have your scissor in the center of the bay, firstly. Then you load up your scissor with your roof purlins, and you go through, lay them all out over the roof, roughly in their positions, and then you'll drop back onto the end bay. Like for instance, for this one, you drop back at the end bay, and then you'll bolt that up. Have your 102 overhang, because that's your M wall girt. And you go through, settle them at 102, bolted up. You then from there drop into the second bay, like you see here with Rodney, which yeah, and then yeah, so we load them all up, run them all through, and then you'll drop back to the column or the bay, the portal before, and then you can start bolting all these up through there now. And then same system, and then into the third bay, and then drop back to the portal behind and stitch up the bolts. It's pretty simple, and it's very, very quick and effective. Like this would be done in an hour. So yeah, I've just had a quick look at the plans, and we need to brace up both these walls here. So I'm going to brace that up, because I don't like to put my roller door post in until I've braced, because sometimes the bracing can pull your building over a little bit, and then that means you're throwing your roller door post over. So I like to, if there's bracing in the wall where there's roller door posts, brace first, then do your roller door post. It'll be pretty solid, because they're back-to-back columns. So yeah, we're going to get braced up, and then we'll get some roller door posts in. So yeah, I've just had a quick look at the plans, and we need to brace up both these walls here. So I'm going to brace that up, because I don't like to put my roller door post in until I've braced, because sometimes